Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order with a reminder that this meeting is both audio and video recorded. Mr. Laurier, may I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Chairman. Mr. Paul Alexander.
Here.
Dr. Shantae Jones.
Here.
Miss Ellen Slobodnik.
Here.
Mr. Michael Cummings.
Here.
Mr. Zach Graham.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Laurier. Mr. Graham, would you care to lead us in a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
There are no additions nor corrections for tonight's agenda. Chairman Alexander.
Thank you, Ms. Calsto. Can I get a motion and a second for approval of the agenda, please?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, consent agenda, assuming everyone has had a chance to review, can I get a motion and a second for approval of consent agenda, please?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to school board member committee reports. Academic committee, Ms. Slobodnik, please.
Hi, good evening. We met for the academic committee, Dr. Jones and I want to say last month, it might have been a little bit longer. And we had an amazing presentation from a staff member on our ESOL program to some data. We also talked about some future math resource adoption, which I believe we're going to hear a little bit more about tonight. Could I roll into the finance committee as well?
Moving into finance committee, Ms.
Perfect.
Slobodnik.
For the finance committee, just before this, we had an update on the student device damage for fees, what that would look like, and how we've been doing with that. And we also had an update on the Power School data breach.
Thank you, ma'am. And moving on to policy committees, Dr. Jones.
Yes, thank you. So the policy committee met on April 16th and discussed the VSBA updates sent out in February, and I will be presenting more on the updates later on during our new business.
All right. Moving on to superintendent spotlight and announcements.
I'd like to call Dr. Grosser up for tonight's superintendent spotlight.
All right, good evening, Chair Alexander, members of the board. First up in our spotlight tonight, there we go, we're talking about the high school music program. So on Saturday, March 1st, the Manassas Park High School Symphonic Band performed for state band assessment and earned a superior rating. They took grade 5 and 6 music, which I'm told is the most difficult music, and achieved the highest rating a band can receive. This is truly an incredible accomplishment for our students in the instrumental program. We are officially considered a Virginia Honor Band, program of distinction for the first time in school history. That's huge. So in addition to that, the Manassas Park High School Choir earned a superior at their state assessment as well. So with both of those achievements combined, between the symphonic band and the choir achievements, we do continue to be a blue ribbon fine arts school. So we do want to say, let me see if I have another picture there. We do want to say congratulations, the score of 1, that was superior as a score of 1. So that's the group there. And we do want to say congratulations to them. We did invite Molly Berlaski and Christina Schenk to come tonight, but they are actually actively at work with their music programs, engaged with our kids, and I certainly think that that is what's most important. That's what's getting us to these ratings. So we want to say congratulations to them and honor them this evening. Oh, and then they also asked me to put in a little plug tonight in the spotlight that the Addams Family is coming up this weekend, Thursday, May 1st through Sunday, May 4th. The shows are all at Manassas Park High School, or in the auditorium, at 7 p.m., except on the 4th, that is a 3 p.m. matinee show. So please come and enjoy these incredible musicians and performers. I think you know a lot of our students that do our band and our choir programs also perform in our musicals, so there's a lot of students that'll be representing both sides. So they asked that we put in a little bit of a plug for the Addams Family this coming weekend. Okay, next up, I'm going to have Rachel Kirkland come up and join us at the podium tonight. So Rachel Kirkland, in one of her many roles with the school division, she is the executive director of the Bell Foundation, which is our education foundation. And one of the goals over the past few years of the Education Foundation has been to develop more business partnerships and really help to bridge that gap between our schools and the community and the business partners. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight, I know, through some of our CTE programs as well. But recently, she, through her work on the Bell Foundation, got a grant that is going to go directly toward a lot of our students in the division. So we wanted to recognize her tonight. I'm going to have her come up and talk about what she did.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Alexander, members of the board, Ms. Calso, guests. I'm excited to share that the Manassas Park Education Foundation has been awarded a $10,000 grant from the Amazon Community Fund to support and expand our Nourishing Ninjas program. Nourishing Ninjas helps address food insecurity by providing students with healthy snack and food to take home on the weekends, making sure they come back ready to learn. Thanks to Amazon's generous support, we will also be able to modestly expand the program to include our middle school students this fall. Gratitude to the original founders of Nourishing Ninjas, Audrey Baldwin and Margaret Park, as well as to Christina Slarchuk and the team at MPE for keeping this moving on the elementary campus for about 10 years now. I'm honored to lead the charge to expand this to the middle school, but it could not have been done without the people who invested so much of themselves in the work over the past decade. We are incredibly grateful to Amazon for investing in the well-being of our students, and we look forward to continuing to grow this and many of our important programs. To support that growth, we are actively fundraising, including our Top Golf event, which is on Saturday, May 10th from 10 to 1. Tickets are still available. And we were also doing a night out with the Baltimore Orioles this June. Currently, all of our updates are available on Facebook under the Manassas Park Education Foundation. I'd like to thank the board for the support of the Education Foundation and continuing to champion initiatives like Nourishing Ninjas that truly make a difference for our students and families.
And I do want to point out that Ms. Kirkland did plan to wear the same outfit she's wearing in the picture on the slide to have some consistency this evening. Thank you, Ms. Kirkland. If you haven't been to one of the fundraising events yet, they're a great time. If you're planning to come to Topgolf, though, you got to bring your game to compete against me, maybe Ms. Kelso, Dr. Jones. We'll be there ready to compete with you. So thank you, Rachel, for your work on that. Finally, tonight, this kind of goes along with one of the presentations coming up later, we celebrate that April is Workforce Readiness Month. School board members, superintendents, teachers, and families play a critical role in supporting students with obtaining skill sets necessary to be successful beyond high school graduation. This is why the Virginia School Boards Association has declared April to be Workforce Readiness Month, and April 16, 2025 was Workforce Readiness Day. Workforce readiness and career and technical education programs can give students the training needed to succeed in life. Additionally, these programs help students understand how their learning applies to the needs of employers. Regardless of whether students are headed directly to college or the workforce, this type of education will prepare them for the future. The demand for highly skilled jobs over the next decade in Virginia continues to increase, and these jobs can be filled by qualified public school students, such as the students here in Manassas Park Schools. So we want to recognize that, and I know, we've had presentations before where Lisa Wolf and Fatin Hamad have joined us and talked about some of our really awesome CTE programs, so I look forward to their presentation tonight as well along those same lines. And that concludes our spotlight tonight. Thank you.
And thank you, Dr. Cross. Any superintendent announcements?
There are no superintendent's announcements tonight,
Okay.
Chair.
All right. Before we move on, any board members want to make any comments while we have an audience?
Sure. I just wanted to say congratulations to our Superior Music Department at Manassas Park High School. That's amazing work, and it's a great accomplishment. So congratulations to all of the hours and all of the extra time that you guys have put in. Thank you for everything. And then to Rachel, our former chair, it's great that you are still really helping out the community and the school, even though you don't technically work with us on the board anymore. But we appreciate all that you still continue to do for Manassas Park. Thank you.
So, just in case anybody on the board doesn't know, grade 5 and grade 6 is easily collegiate level music. They are really putting down the effort and needs to be recognized. Great work, great work. And also, thank you, Ms. Kirkland. You've been rocking out, doing what you do. Thank you.
Yes, again, congratulations to our chamber and concert choir and the symphonic band. We appreciate you. You all are amazing. I've seen with my own eyes. And then I'll make sure I get out to the Adams family this weekend. And again, thank you, Ms. Kirkland, for everything that you have done, are doing, continue to do. We appreciate you. I know the school community appreciates you as well. So thank you.
Again, just to echo on the music department, significant achievements all around the musical. I think music department, music education, significant pillar of education altogether. So I appreciate the efforts there. Also, the grant for supporting food security, a tremendous benefit to the community. Kind of all the effort the board and the schools have done on that front in the past several years has been certainly a benefit to the community. So appreciate the effort there.
All right. Yeah, huge thank you to Board Chair Kirkland, Amazon, and everyone in the band and the choir. This incredible accomplishment, and the CTE program. I love you guys. Thank you so much. All right, so moving on to public comments. Ms. Laurie, do we have anyone signed up for public comment, please?
No, Chair.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Moving on to new business, student achievement, update on the Manassas Park Schools Career Technical Education and Work-Based Learning Programs.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd like to ask Ms. Wolf and Ms. Hamad to come forward for their presentation.
Good evening. Good evening, Chairman Alexander, members of the board, those of us in attendance tonight. We appreciate this opportunity to come talk to you about our CTE programs here in Manassas Park City Schools. While Fatten and I could talk for hours, we're incredibly proud of our CTE programs, our students, et cetera. We know that we are on a tight schedule tonight, so we're going to keep this flowing and try to stay on task. I've got my clock running up here, so if I move too fast, just pause. So just like everything else that we do in Manassas Park, we are governed by our strategic plan. In the CTE world, we really identify with Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. We're all about reimagining the school experience, creating experiences that are unique and special that distinctly help students prepare for the world of work after high school. And part of what Fatten's work is, Ms. Wad, is building community, how we can create community connections to support our students to be successful once they leave us and go out into the world. We offer 8 different career clusters here in Manassas Park. There are 17 in Virginia, so we offer about half of what's available. We have 11 teachers. There's 110 sections, that many minutes up there, and then we've got over about 2,200 students that are taking CTE classes, 512. And we're really proud to have 78 students that are taking dual enrollment CTE classes. I am proud to say that Manassas Park is the only high school that I know of in Northern Virginia for sure, maybe the Commonwealth, that offers 4 different dual enrollment marketing classes. That is unique to our programs. You will notice, board members, that there are some hyperlinks in here. I am not going to pull them up in the interest of saving time. Should you be interested in knowing the details of those things, that's why I included those links in there. Pleased to say that we have met 7 of the 9 performance standards required of our CTE programs in terms of our report card, you might say. And this is an improvement from last year. The final 2 that we're still working on are about our post-program placement, and that's connected to our CTE completer survey. Essentially, we're not getting in touch with enough kids post-high school to figure out where they are, so I don't have the data to say they've gone to college, they're in the military, they're going straight to work. The other marker that we're still working on is our non-traditional program concentration. That's about whether careers that are traditionally associated with males have women in them, or careers that are traditionally associated with females have men in them. So an example would be our nurse aide pathway. that if you were a young man in that pathway, you would be considered a non-traditional student in that pathway. Part of the problem with meeting that is that it changes every year. And also, we're making strides in equity and kind of bridging some of those gender gaps. So feeling pretty proud about that work. If you want to see the details of all the percentages, you can click on that performance. That is also available just to the general public online. As we move into 25, 26, and you might have noticed this in the consent agenda as you were looking at our Perkins plan, just wanted to point out some of the things that we're focused on moving forward. We believe strongly, I believe strongly, in doing things really well for a smaller number of kids and then growing it as we get better. And so in that way, we are continuing to grow our health sciences programs. We are adding EMT. Super proud of this one specifically. Our EMT program is going to be offered at the teaching space is going to be at Manassas Park Fire and Rescue in their training room. And we are partnering with Sage Training to do the instruction. So I'm very excited that we will have our students working in our firehouse here in Manassas Park, and potentially the beginning of a solid partnership between the city and the school divisions to fill that workforce need here in Manassas Park. We are also growing our credential options. There's been lots of changes to school accreditation, and the CT credentials are becoming a larger part of that work. And so we are exploring how we can add new options, and we can have kids leaving not just with WISE, not just with workplace readiness, but workplace readiness plus a Microsoft Office certification, plus, I don't know what else, a QuickBooks certification, plus your EMT certification or your CNA certification. I want kids to leave high school with as many different certifications attached to their resume as possible. And we also know that we have students, and you'll hear more about this when the students come up to talk to you a little bit, that are interested, that have the interest and the aptitude for skilled trades. And we also know that the skilled trades are high needs. Most of our skilled trade people in Northern Virginia are retiring. They're ready to hand it off to somebody else. So we're going to explore some options to bring those programs into our high school, likely through dual enrollment options. The other big priority that we have is the same as the rest of the school division. We want to hire, we want to recruit and retain high-quality instructional staff. We invested quite a bit of money this spring in bringing in an instructional coach for our CTE team at the high school. I intend to do something similar in the next school year. I've got lots of content experts that aren't trained educators. And so part of my job and part of the work that we do here on the school division side is then give that training to these content experts so I can level up their education, their classroom skills with their content knowledge. Also, we're still growing work-based learning. Mrs. Hamad is knocking it out the park. She is doing amazing work. You'll notice that work-based learning was not on the list of markers that we didn't meet. It was last year. It's not this year because of the work that she is doing. So we're going to continue to work on that and grow that. Purposeful, incremental growth. Again, those credentials. Credentials are really important. And if you are so interested in your infinite free time, you can see the list of all the tiered credential options that VDOA recently released. You'll notice it was released on April 4th, 2025. It is the 2024-2026 credential list. Just, it's very current. But so you'll see those are some options, and we're looking at that as a school division to try to be strategic about what we can add or change to stack up those credentials. WISE and workplace readiness are still on there. We will still continue to offer those. And some of the new pathways that we have, like EMT and CNA, those are also they're weighted more. They're legitimate, not that the other ones aren't legitimate. They are a certification that qualifies you for work right out of high school. So those are some of the work that we're doing with the credentials. And now, one of the things that Manassas Park has become known for down in Richmond in VDOE is our students' work on our market research. I have a pattern of coming to our dual enrollment marketing students annually and asking them to research and survey our students to get me the information that I need to submit with my reports to VDOE. And so I've brought some of our lovely dual enrollment marketing students with us today so they can talk to you about the work that they have done. Now, there are 2 name misspellings that I need to apologize for. I won't tell you which names are misspelled, but I will just apologize again for the fact that I made an error. So they I asked them to do 2 things, our new course application survey, and then the other one is some just general information about what students are interested in and what they want to seek out of our CTE programs. And so I'm going to toss to Camilla and Addison to talk about the new course.
For our survey, we were asked to ask students what they thought about 3 courses that we would like to offer, which were automotive technology, HVAC, and becoming electricians. Most students showed a lot and a huge interest and showed that they would be willing to work in and outside of school to develop their skills with this types of classes.
During the survey, we went into each classroom and tried to survey as many people as we can. We surveyed about 1/3 of the school, so around 300 students. And then based on the research that we got from the survey, we analyzed the data, and then we put in a pie chart, which you can see here. The top three CTE courses that people are interested in is, again, architect, construction management, and HVAC, as well as automotive, and then a bunch of other CTE courses that students were interested in.
Thank you.
Again, these are live links to the students' written reports, so if anyone is interested in reading the work, then the full, complete write-up. The other thing that I asked them to do some research on for me is exactly what our students are looking to get from our CTE programs. And so that would be our Pathways service. So I'm going to hand it over to Karen and Sienna and Layla and Kevin, not Kelvin, Kevin, to talk about that work.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Kevin Munoz Mondragon, and I worked with my team as well as a few other individuals who are not here presently. But we were asked to survey the current pathways being offered at Manassas Park High School, and to see just exactly how courses are serving students, and just to answer the question as to whether students are enjoying the courses, if they find it beneficial to their post-high school plans. And with the data that we collected, offered both in English and Spanish in order to kind of just get a better scope of a more diverse data set, right? We were able to conclude that the demand, in fact, is there, that students are enjoying the courses and are actually asking for more courses, as you can see in the charts presented right now. And the demand is there. It is simply the supply that students are kind of not exactly being catered to at the moment. Hopefully, that is what we are trying to change. And yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if my team has anything else to add.
One thing that we thought was interesting is that the very successful CNA program that we've all come to see, that was actually a success of the 2022 Pathways survey taken by our students. And that program has proven to be extremely successful and of interest to our students. So potentially using the survey that we did, we found especially like the law and order and justice class showed a lot of interest among students. So, you know, these surveys work, and I think they could be very beneficial. We all think they could be very beneficial in future CTE courses implemented at Manassas Park High School.
Thank you so much. The kids speak for themselves. They're pretty amazing. Their writing is wonderful. If you have a chance, I would encourage you to go read their full findings. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Hamad to talk about our work-based learning programs.
Just to give our kudos to them, I just want you guys to know that me and Ms. Wolf use their data all the time. in so much of our reporting. We do count on them, and they are incredible professional level work. A couple of programs that we're going to be highlighting tonight. Our work-based learning program is growing. It is growing by leaps and bounds. This year, between our lunch programs, our Cougar Time programs, internships, externships, we've offered over 536. 2 years ago, it was 7? From 7. We're going to highlight our National Women in Roofing program, but we have a wonderful video that we'll show you guys at the end. You got to wait on that one. So a few things that we've been doing, obviously our partnership with the aviation. That's a partnership with Prince William County, Manassas Park, Manassas City, and of course, as the expansion for the Manassas Airport is coming through, we've done a lot of work with them. We've held lots of meetings. We took 78 students to an airport and aviation career day. UVA Health opened their doors to us, and we took a little under 60 students there for a full-day program to learn about various careers in healthcare. Dream and Nova is one of our incredible nonprofits that has helped us. As you know, we don't have a cosmetology program, so they're running an after-school cosmetology club for us. And I was there today. They were doing hair and makeup, and they bring in guest speakers to talk about entrepreneurship and what those pathways are. And you know, some of these students are there, and they're experiencing it every day. For the first time, we participated in the I2I conference, which is a regional conference. So this goes from Warrenton all the way up through Alexandria, and we had an incredible showing with our students where they were able to interact with 128 businesses, learn about internships, externships, pathways, career opportunities. Our collaboration events, we've done a lot. Those are on Tuesdays and Thursdays during Cougar Time. We have somebody to come talk about financial literacy. We had a medical examiner come in. We've had nurses, business owners, educators, people from all different trades to kind of talk to the students. We've had a few that even did interviews on the spot to just get those students in. This was a beautiful partnership with the Jim Rowe Foundation. We took 30 students who are interested in the trades, and the Jim Rowe Foundation supported us, and we went there and we did a tour at Nova, and we looked at the automotive program. We looked at their welding program, and it was an excellent experience. We may not have the trade at our school, but these partnerships are allowing us to expand that. And then for the first time, of any school I know of, we actually had 4 separate national radio broadcasts for the Real World Leaders Radio. The wonderful students from Mr. Gamble's dual enrollment were our hosts for those shows, and they can put on their resumes that they participated in national radio broadcasts that were on 120-something channels nationwide. So that's pretty impressive. And our adaptive students continue to work in the community. We have 11 of them that are working with 5 new businesses. I keep their schedule just in case I need to like do a CVS or Food Lion or now Krispy Kreme run. And these are partners with us. So, you know, if it's a Tuesday and I need a Krispy Kreme donut, I run out when I know one of our students is going to be there. And he's there and he's working and he's so proud, and don't catch him in the hallway. They're like, I gotta go to work, I'm busy. I'm like, all right, yes you are, I appreciate that. But the internships and externships have been growing drastically. This is some paid and some unpaid opportunities. We have 2 of our students working now in one of our adaptive classrooms. These are 2 future educators. We have 5 potential students working in the trades this summer with Americans. Bookworm Central has taken 2 of our business students to work on a marketing bilingual program. Project Menda House, which is a nonprofit, has taken one of our students. Birmingham Green is taking on a couple of our kids. 2 are there and 2 more will be coming soon. But not for healthcare jobs. They're actually going for the business side of things. And one is going in for the nutrition side of things. And we have our help desk students, which is a set of 11 students that support 2,000 devices every single day. So our student-run help desk is incredible. Those students are learning. They are learning not just typical help desk things, but they've really expanded what that looks like. So now I want to just throw a little highlight at some of our business partners. Of course, the Manassas Park Rec has always been a huge business partner. Some of these are new partners. Dream and Nova, Micron came and has started to recruit for their apprenticeship program straight from our mechatronics program, which has been incredible. We have several students that have already done that. The National Women in Roofing, which you guys are going to watch a video about, we had 13 students that took part in it where they were able to, they missed a week of school. And they went to work and they did 40 hours learning how to to put a, what is it called, a low slope roof. I learned the vocab. I went with them. And they did the low slope roof. They also got their OSHA 10 certification. And they walked away and they had it's called the Beginning Roofing Academy. So they're, if you need them, they're certified roofers with their OSHA certification. So they actually have a wonderful promotional video. And one more small thing, the National Women in Roofing was nationally awarded something for this partnership that they do with Manassas Park. So at their convention this year, they were, I think, best outreach in the country or something like that. So the DC chapter was recognized for what they do with us. All right. If he doesn't start, I'm starting it. Oh, no, he's doing it. He said not to touch if the mouse is moving. Technical difficulties, one moment. Okay, yeah. I was told don't touch, so I'm not touching.
Today we're here at the GF Academy at the Beacon Roofing Supplies in Manassas, Virginia. This is the Build University Academy that we prepare for the girls. These girls are from Manassas Park, and in conjunction with National Women in Roofing, several contractors, and Beacon, we are doing this today. This is a week-long class, so they've been here since Monday. They are learning how to install steep slope roofing, all the components. They're installing shingles now. They're almost done with their activity for today. We're going to get lunch, do headshots for the girls.
It turns out that the roofing industry needs roofers, and in the roofing industry as a whole, there are very few women roofers, and very few women are exposed to roofing. This industry is growing and growing for women, so we thought it was a good place to start, was to introduce people to roofing and give them a week-long education about how to actually install a roof.
They have some sample A-frame rooftops that they have that it's at ground level, so they can be able to install, from the deck up, or they put the underlayment, the shingles, the drip edge, all that stuff, which I think is key in what they're learning, because it gives them not only do they have the knowledge, but they have the hands-on. And when you combine those two, usually it has a much deeper effect on how you see it and how much you learn from it. So I think it's a really good program to have.
They want this to look really pretty. Every step of the way, they want it done correctly. If they don't mess up and then keep going, they mess up, take it off every single time, and I don't get that from the other side.
Women are we just bring a different perspective to the industry. Well, women in construction overall is a really, really small percentage of, the people in the construction industry. And women in roofing specifically only makes 2% of the roofing industry.
I feel like a lot of women don't realize what they can do in this industry, and there's room for them, and a lot of room, right? They have natural talent, they have the attention to detail. They can do a lot of the stuff that we can do. As men, they can sell, they can roof, they can own businesses. This empowers these young ladies to be able to do this in the future.
So with the establishment of Build University, we know that we will be deepening our community involvement. We will be continuing to support young people who are interested in the roofing business, and we look forward to working more and more with all of the high schools in our area.
And with that, thank you all for the time tonight to share with you the wonderful work that our teachers and our students are doing. Please come visit us. We've got lots of exciting things to share with you, and we love company. And if you ever want to chaperone a field trip, we always need chaperones. I got plenty of fun things for you to go do. Just let us know. So thank you for your time. We appreciate this opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Spott. Thank you, Ms. Wolf. Do you have any questions from the board? Comments?
I just wanted to thank the students for all of your hard work with those, the surveys and like the data write-up. It really does look like college level stuff. It looks like things that you would do in a dissertation project, the way you analyze the data and kind of give recommendations. So it's clear that you guys are learning skills that'll help you be successful. So congratulations on all of your hard work, and thank you so much for coming to present to us. It's always great to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's really remarkable to see the kind of the diversity of opportunity that's available. I went to high school 20 plus years ago, didn't have nearly the types of opportunities that these students have exposure to now. So I think it's really a testament to kind of the the work that everyone has done to present those opportunities. I did have a quick question on the post-program placement. Kind of what are you getting credit for? Is it just they're transitioning to their desired field? Is it kind of post-secondary education, military, all the above?
Essentially, the data point is the percentage of students we're able to get in touch with out of our completers. And whether they're actively in some sort of whether they're working or in school or whatever. Our rate is we typically don't meet that data point because we're not able to get in touch with enough students. What we have done to increase our response rate is that we work with our parent liaison team, and we have 3 individuals. Matter of fact, I just met with them yesterday. No, it was just this morning, about this year's completer survey. And they make the phone calls, they talk to families, they hustle and bug younger siblings for the right contact information and all that, so that we can get in touch with as many kids as possible. So that's what that data point is about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all so much. Just this whole program, I was writing down a whole lot of stuff, and I was like, I could just sum it up as saying, like, the growth that has happened in this program over the last couple years has been phenomenal. And kudos to the 2 of you, to all the teachers, to all the students that have participated in this program to help make it what it is today. You all are killing it. And I will say to the students with those surveys, as someone who does data collection, data visualization, data analyzing as a day job, this report was stellar. You all are doing things some adults I work with don't know how to do. So congratulations to you all, and you're just like on the path. I was very impressed with your report. So keep it up, and congratulations for everything that you all are doing.
Thank you.
I've been listening to all my colleagues here and just taking a few minutes to take in everything that you guys as students have been doing, your team leaders, adults, everybody. The beautiful thing is the differentiation between some of the surrounding communities at Manassas Park. Your reports were amazing. It's just beautifully done. And Doc said it perfectly. Many adults can't or don't do that level of work. That is very impressive. What also goes to show is the work that your teachers have done to show you how to do it, and as well as allowing you guys to expand, ask questions, and keep it rolling. So kudos to your students, your teams, your educators, as well as Ms. Wolf and Ms. Hamad. I know you guys have been pushing for the past few years. It is such a beautiful thing to see the growth. I know a few students that have been through many of the programs, and they as students speak very highly of it. And the work that you guys are putting in with communication, and quite honest competition from some of the surrounding divisions. And you guys are able to get some of these very large endorsements and deals done. That speaks volumes to the presentations you guys are able to make and deals you're able to put together. So thank you. Thank you for giving these guys an opportunity and for what you guys have done in these short 2 years that I've been able to be on this board. I look forward to seeing what the end results are in 3, 5, 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. And we're not done yet, so stick around.
Yeah.
I will say, I was told I had 20 minutes. My stopwatch said 22. So, just
Close
saying.
enough. Well, I'm not done.
Oh.
So, before I start,
It was 22 before questions.
Do either of our student board members have any questions or comments? You guys are, involved in this heavily at the school. You're welcome to comment if you'd like.
I know these people personally, and I also know the people in the CNA and the people who are going into the EMT programs personally as well. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of all the work that they've done, and I'm very excited to hear back from the underclassmen how it's going in the high school as years go on, and all of the improvements and all the adjustments to everything that's in these programs. And I'm just very proud of our women in roofing. That was very cool to see.
I also want to say, I want to congratulate Ms. Hamad and Ms. Wolf. I know you guys are always like running around, like you guys are barely ever in your office. And I just want to thank you for the hard work that you're doing. I know that the school is doing much more in terms of CTE than they were when I was a freshman, and I'm really proud to see that. And I'm really happy that people who are coming into the high school or that are like raising in grades, like underclassmen, are getting those opportunities, and that us as a school are growing in terms of education. So I really want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. And how about that EMT pathway? How do you feel about that one?
I'm really excited to be part of it.
All right, so couple things I wanted. The 300 surveys number, that was extremely impressive to hit a third. That's insane. So yeah, kudos to all of you for that. I will absolutely be reading the reports and the hyperlinks. I did have one question on, well, one other before the question. The growth numbers, as Dr. Jones mentioned, are insane. In fact, Dr. Saunders and I spoke today about the postgraduate connections and trying to figure out, ways to raise that number. But with regards to, I want to go back to there was the 8 or the 7 or 8 different groups that are functions that we can go into. It's the first slide.
This is not me anymore. Just kidding.
Sorry. Hold on one sec. I can bring it up.
We have 8 career clusters?
Yes, the 8 clusters.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it, and I know that each of them have a 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade kind of path. What happens if a student decides, like, I want to get into mechatronics, but I'm a sophomore, and I didn't take the freshman class? Like, are there ways for students that can get into that don't know as their freshman year, this is the path they want to go on?
Let me remember, so I think those are our pathways, the one-pagers, right, that you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
So those are just suggested. They're not, you have to follow in this exact order. It's just to give students an idea of what that might look like. And other than, like, a level 1 course has, like, so mechatronics, for example, there's Mech 1 and then there's Mech 2 and Mech 3. So you have to take Mech 1 before you can take Mech 2. But it's okay if you don't start that until a junior or even the second half of your sophomore year. Our lots of business courses and our marketing courses, a lot of them can be taken in any order. So you don't always have to know exactly when you're a freshman what you want to do. It's helpful, but there are still ways to get in. We try to maximize on-ramps and off-ramps, right? So, like, let's say, you know what, hey, I really think I like mechatronics and I want to try this out, it sounds really cool. And I get in it and you know what, this is awful. I hate this. This is no fun at all. Then I want kids to know that you can change your mind and maybe you go try and take Introduction to Health and Medical Sciences. And so there's lots of chances for you to try again. And even when we talk to students, and even thinking about after high school, right? So having lots of ways to start and stop and reimagine. We know in the world of work and the way that work is changing out once you leave high school, there are very few people like me that is working for the same place in the same kind of work for 22 years. That's an anomaly these days. These kids are gonna have to skill and reskill and reskill and reskill over and over and over again. And so in that vein, that's part of what we do in CTE, teach you to seek out an interest, learn what you can about it, remix it, throw in entrepreneurship. Maybe you start a thing and turn it into your own pathway. You go into nursing, but I really want to start my own home health company. And I want to be in charge of people going to push into houses. And so the idea is that we're talking about options and giving you opportunities over and over and over again to try out what the world looks like. Is that a whole lot of not really an answer?
That's a perfect answer. What's your stopwatch saying?
I stopped it. I stopped it at 22. I was like,
All right.
That's the kid.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Nope, that's not mine.
All right, so moving on to student achievement. Manassas Park City Schools Summer Learning Program.
Want to thank Ms. Wolf, Ms. Hamad, and our students for their presentation. You are excused. I know.
Thank you
the
all.
school day comes early.
Well done. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. I'll ask Ms. Mammon, Ms. Statman, and Ms. Tran to come forward to provide summer learning updates.
Good evening, Chairman Alexander and members of the board. I am excited to be here tonight along with Ms. Samantha Statman and Ms. Joy Tran, our two summer learning coordinators, to share an overview of our summer learning programs. You'll see as we highlight our programs in our presentation that all of them are thoughtfully aligned with all three of our pillars of the strategic plan. Really on this slide, I want to highlight really what is our overarching goals of our programs, and that's including programs that accelerate academic progress through skill mastery, content development, credit recovery, initial credit, programs that target supporting key transitions for our students. That transition to kindergarten, the transition from our fifth graders into the middle school, and then that transition into high school. Opportunities to provide authentic real-world hands-on experiences for our students, and then programs that help advance English language development for our multilingual learners. And so you'll see that as we share our summer programs with you, that they're all targeted at these key goals. Every program needs a theme. Our theme this summer, the Great Summer Learning Adventure. It is split into an elementary and secondary program. Our elementary serves students rising kindergarten through rising fifth grade. That takes place at our elementary campus, predominantly at MPE. And then our secondary program, which will serve rising sixth graders through our high school students, rising 12th graders. And that will take place at the middle school this year. So our summer learning design team, I am joined here tonight, very excited to introduce Ms. Samantha Statman. She's an L teacher at Manassas Park Elementary School. She was a first grade teacher at Cougar for 6 years, team lead for 5, and this is her second year as elementary summer learning coordinator. Very excited to have you back on board this year. Joined on the secondary campus by Ms. Joy Tran. Ms. Tran is a math teacher and department chair at the high school. She also serves as a member of the student discipline team, student leadership council sponsor, and a lead mentor. And Joy is currently enrolled in an educational leadership program at Longwood University. So the work in putting in these programs, led by our two wonderful summer learning coordinators, but also an entire team, most of them from our instructional team, who are really collaborating together to design and implement the programs that we're going to share with you today. Ms. Leanne David, our coordinator of English language learners, Lisa Wolf, Fatin Hamad, Christy Graff, you'll hear from in just a moment too, Kathy Maurer, our division science specialist, our division literacy specialist, Elizabeth Schoenberger, and then Chris Bunner from the high school, who really focuses on the on-time graduation for our high school students. So at this time, I will invite Ms. Statman forward to share an overview of the exciting summer programs that we have planned for the elementary students.
Hi, I'm Ms. Statman. I am going to start with the Cougar Elementary students. That's our rising kindergarten through rising second grade. The first program we offer is Bridge to Kindergarten. What's new this year about this program is we have expanded it to be a 3-week-long program rather than just 1 week. This is specifically designed for our rising kindergarten students who have no prior preschool experience and need to come in and get support in how do they function in a school environment, and just give them that supportive and engaging learning environment to help them build those schools so they have a successful transition in the fall. Our L program is a 3-week program targeted to our elementary students who are new to the English language. We provide engaging and immersive learning environments where they get to work on their language proficiency, expand their vocabulary, and develop essential communication skills. Last but not least is our summer school program. That's our 3-week program where we're going to be helping students gain the support for their mastery skills and what they need to prevent learning loss over the summer, along with just ensuring that they're prepared when they come back in the fall. For the elementary campus, that's our rising 3rd through rising 5th grade. We have a new program this year which we're excited to get started. It's a grant-funded enrichment program for English language learners. It's specifically targeted for our 4th through 7th graders. They will be having a week-long program where they get to go in and have immersive learning experiences at the museums in Washington, D.C. They're going to have hands-on exploration, and we're hoping to build their background knowledge, strengthen their vocabulary, but also just deepen their engagement with history, culture, and science. Our summer school program, again, 3 weeks long, it's going to help give them the hands-on experience that they need to help prevent that learning loss, help them master essential skills that they need for the upcoming school year, and just get them ready to come back in the fall. Last but not least is robotics. This is a very fun program for our students at MPE, helping them understand what robotics is, their coding and problem-solving skills through engaging projects and collaboration. This is designed to foster their creativity, but also it's critical in getting them ready for the upcoming school year as they participate in the fall 2025 first LEGO League season. These are just some overarching details. Our hours are from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at MPE. Bridge to K is a little bit different. They run a little bit less time, 9 a.m. to 12, and they will be housed in CES, so they get the experience in the building that they're going to be in. We have recess included and a meal provided in their schedule. Transportation is provided along with counseling services. As you can see, we have lots of positions available, and without any of these people, our program wouldn't be possible. So we encourage teachers and school nurses and all of these people to apply so we can run our program successfully. As you can see, we have our ESY. Our class sizes for summer school will be 12 to 1, and the L programs will be a 10 to 1 ratio. You can see in the corner we have our curriculums that we are going to be using. Our language arts will be focusing on book studies, getting books into the hands of students, along with those phonics skills that they need to master to be able to read and write successfully. In math, based on approval from the board, if we have KIDM, we will use KIDM to do our math programs. If not, we will be moving forward with moving with math like we did last year. Science will be focusing on 5 Ponds Press for CES and STEM Scopes for MPE. And last but not least, the social emotional skills are very important to cover over the summer, and we'll be working with Rethink Ed. Thank you so much.
Hello. The grant-funded enrichment program for English learners is the same program that was presented earlier. The next couple programs I will be talking about will be taking place from July 7th to July 25th. The Bridge to Middle School program serves to support rising sixth graders in both strengthening academic skills as well as engaging them in experiences that allow them to navigate their new school successfully. The ELS program is targeted to support middle school students who are new to the English language, build language proficiency, communication skills, and confidence using the language. The Middle School Summer School program focuses to support middle school students in mastering essential skills and content and ensuring they are well prepared for this upcoming school year. Details on the curriculum will be shown on the secondary logistics slide. For our high school programs, the USVA government program is led by Leanne David and is designed to provide ELs with an opportunity to learn about the ins and outs of our state and federal government while supporting them in their language development. The high-quality work-based learning summer opportunity led by Fan Hamad. The students will have the opportunity to earn a half credit through a blended learning externship model. On Mondays, they will be in a career strategies course where they will develop upon important job skills and discussing their externship experiences working with the summer school teachers at the elementaries as well as with the IT department Tuesday through Friday. The credit recovery. High school students will be earning credits for previously failed courses through APEX with support from content area teachers in order to stay on track for graduation. The English 9 program is a combined in-person and virtual asynchronous program, which will be taking place from June 23rd to the 27th and July 7th to the 25th, and is targeted at ELs entering high school at an older age to give them an opportunity to earn initial credit for English 9 in order to stay on track for graduation. So these are some of our logistics. The summer learning hours are from 8 to 12 located at the middle school. Transportation and meal will be provided. The class size ratios are 15 to 1 with the exception of the Bridge to Middle School program, which is 12 to 1. And you can see details about the curriculum here. And the summer learning program will only be made possible thanks to transportation services, guidance, food services, teachers, front office staff, and the SRO, who will all be hired to support the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Statman and Ms. Tran. We appreciate the opportunity to share with you tonight our summer learning programs that we have planned. As we highlighted, all of these programs are designed to advance our goal of accelerating academic progress, supporting those transitions, providing those authentic real-world experiences, and helping our students to develop further in the English language development. So thank you for your continued support of our students, of our educators, and the opportunities that we're able to create for all of our learners.
Thank you, Ms. Mammon. All right, any word questions or comments? Okay.
I just thank you for the diversity and wealth of programs being offered. That's really great. It's clear that you guys thought of everything. I just had a question. On average, what does our summer program enrollment look like? I want to be sure that students are, and our community is taking advantage of all of these amazing opportunities that we're providing for them.
So we try to keep a lower class size ratio in our elementary classrooms. So right now we're looking at being able to invite 36 to 40 of our elementary students per grade level to attend summer school, and that does go up just a little bit larger class size at the middle school, and that will allow us to invite about 45 students per grade level to participate in summer school. So as we work on identifying the students to extend the invitation, and then prepare to make sure that we can offer those spots to all of our students.
Thank you.
One thing I will draw attention to, if you recall from last year, we did in the summer, we did utilize some of our all-in tutoring funds, and so we ran our summer school program, but then we also did some of our all-in tutoring. We did make the decision that we are going to just focus on using those funds to support that during the school year, and not do it during the summer. So in case I know if you recalled that from last year.
All right. Any other questions?
We'll be sure to update you in the fall on some of these great experiences for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Moving on to student achievement, Manassas Park City Schools math resource adoption.
I'd like to invite Ms. Mammon back up and Ms. Graff.
Sorry. Good evening again, Chairman Alexander and members of the board. Across our division, our K-12 math specialists and our educators have been working intentionally this year to align our math instruction with the current state standards and to embed best practices in teaching and learning. Their efforts in developing aligned lessons and assessments have been outstanding. At the same time, we recognize the need for a comprehensive, high-quality math resource. Tonight, I am joined by Ms. Christy Graff, our division math specialist, to share our recommendation for the adoption of a new math resource that will strengthen instruction and better meet the needs of our students. Before we share the details of our adoption process and the recommendation, I'd like to briefly highlight how this recommendation aligns with our 3 strategic plan pillars. This adoption of a new math resource supports all 3 of the pillars. It reimagines the school experience by providing deeper, more engaging math instruction. It builds community by giving students, teachers, and families access to consistent, high-quality tools. And it creates safe spaces for our students by meeting the diverse needs of the learners in our classrooms. So I think it's important to set the stage and let you know, speak a little bit about what the current math instruction looks like. So new Virginia Math Standards of Learning were approved in 2023. With new standards comes a need to update all of our instructional materials and resources to ensure that they are in line. VDOE, there is not a crosswalk year, so these new 2023 standards will be assessed this spring. So the division's most recent math resource, Envisions, was adopted in 2016, and that resource no longer fully reflects the content, the rigor, and the instructional shifts in the revised standards. So what have we been doing this year? Teachers and our division math specialist, Ms. Graff, have been actively working to bridge that gap by collaboratively planning aligned lessons and assessments in the absence of an updated core math resource. They've been utilizing resources from the VDOE and also resources from an organization, Math Forward, which is a group of math specialists, Ms. Graff is a part of it, from across Virginia. So as I shared at the beginning, there is a need for a comprehensive, high-quality math resource to fully support both our students and teaching as we move forward. So what did our process look like? Back in spring 2024, we began exploring resources aligned to the new 23 math standards of learning. That time, we did not have an approved resource list from the Virginia Department of Education, so we were exploring and waiting. Fall of 2024, the 23 standards of learning are implemented at the start of the school year. All the work begins with Ms. Graff and our educators to align those lessons and assessments, and we continue to wait on an approved resource list from the VDOE. In December of 2024, the VDOE released that approved resource list. There was only one resource that was approved on the K-5 list. That resource is KIDM. At that same time, an interest survey was sent out to all of our elementary educators to gain interest to be a member of the Resource Adoption Committee. In January was the first meeting of that Resource Adoption Committee, continued into February. Ms. Graff will speak a little bit more in detail about what took place at those meetings. And then beginning of March, we did invite KIDM to come, and they did a vendor presentation for our Resource Adoption Committee. And then at the end of March 2025, VDOE released their new approved resource adoption list. So at that point, we needed to come together and make a decision on how we wanted to move forward at that point, keeping in mind that we were the majority of the way through our process with the resource that we did have from the initial approved list. So our options were to go forward and continue that adoption process or extend the adoption process into the next school year. We made the decision to continue the adoption process so that we could get the feedback from our Resource Adoption Committee and make a decision. And if that resource wasn't going to work, then we would make whatever decisions going into next year. As planned, in April 2025, we did have that final vote by our Resource Adoption Committee. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Graff to come forward and share more information about the Resource Committee's work with identifying a high-quality math instructional resource, and also some details and information about our recommended math resource. Ms. Graff?
Good evening. So one of the first things that we had to do, and what I wanted to do when meeting with our educators, was to norm what a high-quality math resource looked like, and what were we to focus on when we were reviewing whatever resource we had in front of us. So you can see on the back wall there are some posters. And so what we did as a committee was, first off, identify what we should see students doing in an instructionally sound math classroom. So what should students be doing? And a lot of it appeared on many of the same things. There's very common, same common themes among that. So they walked around, they did a gallery walk and looked at each other's posters, starred or put check marks next to things that they had on their poster, or like, ooh, I really like that and I didn't mention that on ours. So then we had a discussion about that. So once we realized what was important in a mathematically sound classroom, then we said, what does a resource need to provide to support this in our classrooms? And so you can see on the right-hand side of that column, that's why they're split in two, are all the things that a resource must provide for us to implement these high-quality mathematical practices and instruction. So that's how we really normed what we were looking for when we were evaluating any resource that was put in front of us. And in addition to that, we also had our evaluation rubric, which included many of these things, including procedural fluency, conceptual understanding, the CRA model, which is concrete, representational, and abstracted mathematics, making sure that there's using rich tasks and real-world scenarios within the math itself. And it also to make sure it aligned with our current infrastructures that we have in place. Does it integrate with Canvas? Does it have a data reporting system? Does it talk with ClassLink and our other technological pieces, so that way we weren't onboarding and trying to do other things with it, and which it does align with all of our infrastructures. And then they had about 3 months to interact with the resource. We got a demo account, so they had access to all of the online resources, and in both meeting rooms in Cougar and at MPE, they had the physical resources, what the student workbook would look like, and a teacher manual. Many of our teachers took that opportunity to teach lessons from KIDM in their classrooms and use those resources, and it was actually very helpful because we are without a resource, and some of the new standards were really hard to find things on because they are brand new and the VDOE is only released so many things. So for 3 months, they had time to play around with it. I met one-on-one with a lot of teachers to show them how to use it, and we implemented from there. And then in our last meeting, we came back to these posters. And so what teachers had to do after 3 months of their experience with KIDM is identify the qualities that were evident when they were evaluating this resource. So you can see all of the circles that appear on these posters were evident that someone was able to name and where they saw that piece in the KIDM resource. So we brought that full circle and had those conversations, and if someone had to say like, yes, it was there, or no, it wasn't there. You'll see that some things aren't circled, and it doesn't give me any pause that they're not, because the VDOE actually has resources to target those exact things that aren't circled. So those missing components don't worry me at all, because the VDOE on their website currently has those things linked. And so when we asked, would you like to move forward with KIDM, we had an overwhelming 100%. So that was easy, right? And so these are the reasons why they were really big on KIDM. Is one of the things is it is aligned to the Virginia 2023 Standards of Learning, which is amazing because there's been a lot of new shifts. If you've taken a look at them, the data cycle was added to every single grade level, and there had been nothing. There's no resources really available for that. And there's been a lot of shifts on what students are asked to do in math. It's not just simple recall. They have to really understand the information and apply it in different ways. So it was really important that that was there. It also contains teacher directions and example student responses. So it gives kind of a script for teachers who need that, and it also gives them what students are supposed to be saying back to them. So if they're not getting it, how to probe for that. One of the other beautiful benefits, it has ready to use math routines, math talks, slide decks, activities, assessments, and they can all be easily customized and differentiated with a few clicks. So it has that availability to edit anything you want in there. So you have the workbook, which is, you can't change the paper workbook, but they have the same thing online that you're able to edit and customize, and also offers different modalities of responses. So if students are struggling to write sentences, they can respond by audio. So they have different modalities, which is really important. And it also follows the CRA model, which is an evidence-based math practice, which I mentioned earlier. And Braining Camp, which is already an online manipulative that we use, is embedded within this program as well. And then the last thing is that this curriculum is really centered around math discourse and conceptual understanding, and that's how you build your mathematical understanding and apply it to everything as you move forward in math and in the future. So with that, though, I would be remiss to talk about the new approved list that was released last month in March. So the VDOE released this list, and it included, I think, 8 of total. And when digging into the correlation reports, so the correlation reports, you can get different grades of not visible, not evident, limited, or adequate. So adequate is the highest score you can receive. So when looking at it, you can see we have 6 grade levels, K through 5. The only resource that has met adequate for more than 50% of the standards is KIDM. When you look at the other different available resources, the only one that came close to it, only 3 of the grade levels met 50% or more of adequate in alignment, and of those 3, 2 of them were only 1, like it was a 8 out of 14 and a 7 out of 12. So it wasn't like they were at 100%, they were just above 50%, but I gave 50% as the I guess the cut here, because if I gave anything higher, there would have been no bars on here at all. So after we had already made our decision to move forward with KIDM, I'm confident that this is the best decision because of the alignment, and that's one of the biggest pieces that are really important with these new standards. So I wanted to make sure we highlighted that there isn't a lot of alignment in the other resources.
Thank you. I would like to, before we talk about the estimated cost, I would like to take the opportunity to recognize and thank Ms. Graff for not just her leadership and expertise and contributions in this resource adoption program, but just overall in our instructional program in our school division. So she is truly invaluable to the work that's happening for our students. So thank you, Ms. Graff. So you'll see here in the estimated cost, a total between the 2 schools, $344,048.03. What that includes both digital and print resources for students for 7 years, full teacher course sets. We are recommending purchasing the program that's aligned with the Math Forward pacing. Again, a lot of really important work that's been happening with Math Forward, not only in providing the resources, but really thinking and being intentional with the pacing. And so KIDM has partnered and been able to adapt their program to the Math Forward pacing recommended. And it also includes professional learning for our educators and school leaders. So in thinking about if this is approved, how we will support the implementation. If you recall earlier in our summer learning presentation, if it is approved to go forward, we are set to utilize KIDM, that platform, during our summer school to really support that early implementation, gather observations and feedback from both our students and teachers. We've been fortunate, as Ms. Graff shared, to be doing that some as we've been going through the evaluation process, but to be able to use that in summer school I think would be a tremendous opportunity as we prepare to launch full scale in the fall. Also thinking about curriculum development, we have planned for this summer some very targeted curriculum writing, which we would then continue to refine during the 25-26 school year, just to continue with pacing guide alignment assessments and the lesson plans. And then ongoing professional development that would begin this summer and continue into next school year. So at this time, I would like to recommend for your consideration the adoption of KIDM as our new K-5 math resource. The adoption of KIDM will strengthen instructional practices in math that are aligned with current state standards and ensure high-quality learning experiences for every K-5 learner. Information about this recommended resource has been and is available for public review until May 16th through our website and through school-based communication. And then I'll be returning to the next board meeting to ask for your approval of KIDM as our new math resource. So thank you for your consideration and continued partnership.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mammon. I would say, unless anyone has questions, I have a couple, but we can also submit questions electronically, and Ms. Mammon can address them at the presentation in the next round. But I had just a few. You answered one. When you mentioned it was a 7-year rollout. How often does DOE change the standard to protect? My worry is getting into a 7-year commitment, and in 3 years, the standards change. Do they offer any sort of assurances that as the standards change that they modify the curriculum to meet that? Is that?
So what I can speak to, and Ms. Graff can as well, is that KIDM has been very responsive to anything that we have asked and to work with on that with them. And so I think one of the things that you'll see, and I think it's highlighted in the correlation chart, is they developed KIDM to target and be aligned with Virginia math standards. I think what is reflected in some of the other resources is they are aligned to I almost said common curriculum, which I'm sorry is our lesson planning. And so the alignment with Virginia standards is just a byproduct. And so, here's a paper that shows how it's aligned to the Virginia standards, but it's not really designed for that. And that's one of the things that we were impressed from the beginning, that KIDM was developed for Virginia.
And in general, it's every 7 years that the state changed standards. So from 2009, 2016, 2023. So it's about every 7 years for math that we come up for a new set of standards.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. And just for the peace of mind, the coverage for the schools is regardless number of students. It's like an enterprise license essentially that gives you, it's not limited. Like if all of a sudden our enrollment starts going up, we're not going to end up finding, well, this covers this many seats, and you're limited by school, but the number of students.
No, the quote would allow for that growth. Yes.
All right.
And I'm happy, right, as we, and when I come back at the next meeting, I'll share any of the public feedback. And then if you have questions that you want to send, we'll get those responses and address when we're here next.
Anyone else have any questions?
I had one. Thank you for presenting on the KIDM. I know this is for elementary school, and I was just wondering, is there a need, or will there be a need for us to adopt resources for either the middle school or the high school in the future? I was just curious.
I would love to have an adoption. I've been in Manassas Park for 11 years and I've never had a curriculum at the high school. And that goes the same for the middle school that has been aligned or updated to any of our standards. So that would be a big resource help for our teachers and for our students to have that. Because right now the teachers are doing an insane amount of work to lift and build everything from scratch, especially with these new standards.
We have some supplemental resources that we'll be, continuing or implementing. EDIA is a big one at the middle school and high school that supports supplemental.
Thank you. That was my only question.
I don't have a question because you answered them all as you were going through, but I just wanted to say that you all have been making lemonade out of rocks, and we appreciate what you all have been doing to make sure that the students are getting, what they need to be able to meet the standards. So thank you all for your hard work, and Ms. Graff for going through that process for the resource adoption. That was great from back here, from what I can see and how you explained it.
I know that's a little far back there, but we'll leave them up
But
there
I-
if you'd
I
like
see
to
the
look
lines and the
afterwards.
circles, so it sounds great. So just thank you for your hard work on that.
All right.
Thank you
you
very
both.
Thank.
Go for it. You sure?
Nah.
You're up?
Go for it. Nah, all done.
Oh, no.
They've done enough. Thank you.
So, Ms. Calso, since Dr. Saunders is not here, could we make a note to just follow up with her on the secondary kind of discussion? Thank you, with the curriculum for.
Yes, you're going to hear more about grades 6 through 8 next year, and then onto the high school after that. So this is a phased process.
Bless you.
We're
All
really
right.
getting the
All right
elementary in place, K through 5, science K through 8 is there. So you'll be hearing more about the middle school next year.
Wonderful. Well, there we go. Thank you. All right. Moving on to board policies, first reading. Dr. Jones.
Sure, thank you. So as the chair of the policy committee for the board, I'm presenting 27 policies for the board's consideration. These policies contain the 26 updates and recommendations received from the Virginia School Boards Association, or VSBA, in February of this year. So there's also one new Manassas Park created policy that's being brought forward for consideration with federal updates regarding food services. So please take the time to review the suggested updates before the next regular meeting on May 19th. Should any questions come up during your review process, please send them to me, and I will make sure the correct department follows up with you if more information is needed. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Jones. I have no life, and I already read all of them, and I have some questions, so I will get those to you later. All right. So moving on to student representative reports.
Okay. I have a long list, so bear with me.
Fire away.
Okay, as we mentioned earlier, for the high school, May 1st through May 3rd is the spring musical, The Addams Family, in the middle school auditorium at 7 p.m. May 4th, it is the matinee at 3 p.m., so make sure you go out to support the theater department. May 2nd is Senior Decision Day at the high school. Seniors will display their future plans in the counseling hallway with, I'm pretty sure it's like the acrylic markers on and then you get to like write everything that you want to write. May 8th, we have our May family market in the counseling hallway, so make sure you go out to support. May 14th is Multicultural Night in the high school commons at 6 p.m. May 21st is the Pops concert in the middle school auditorium at 7 p.m. May 22nd, we have the Spring Athletics Awards in the commons at 6 p.m. May 23rd is the last day of classes for seniors. May 29th is the Honors Assembly in the high school gym at 8 a.m. And May 31st, we made a change to the time due to health concerns. It is at 8:30 a.m. instead of, it's at 8:30 a.m. Yep. And then the middle school, May 8th, there's the 7th and 8th grade band spring concert. May 9th is the 6th grade band spring concert. May 14th, the 6th grade spring choir concert. And May 15th, 7th and 8th grade spring choir concert. The students must arrive at 6:30 p.m. and the concert will begin at 7 p.m. for all of these. Also, make sure you guys go out and support the softball and baseball team and the soccer team for the middle school. Today they had a game. Softball, unfortunately, they lost. And they had to cut the game short due to some shortage in the number of players. And then baseball, I'm pretty sure they lost too. But they did play well. They played well. And then the Cougar Elementary School, we have the Cougar Literacy Run on May 3rd. This event runs all day. It starts at 8 a.m. and it goes until 12 p.m. So make sure you guys go out and, support that one too. And a big shout out to all the March MPES Cougars of the Month. Keep up the great work. Good luck to everyone who has worked hard on the High School Musical, from the cast to the crew and those in the booth. Keep up the great work and break a leg, not literally. May 5th through 9th, Staff Appreciation Week. Make sure to show your love for your teachers and staff because they do so much for us, and we appreciate it. SOLs are coming up. We wish all of the students who are taking the SOLs this cohort good luck. AP exam season has begun. Students have been studying hard. We wish all those students who are taking any AP exams the best of luck. And the MPHS United and Strong will be holding a multicultural night on May 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. They are in need of food donations in any amount. Cultural dishes are preferred, but donations can truly be anything. Examples of dishes you can donate are desserts like baklava, mochi, tres leches, and etc. Drinks like chai, yerba mate, and boba tea. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those right, so I'm sorry. Dishes like pupusas, biryani, thank you, shawarma, and snacks like samosas, lumpia, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and emotes locos. There will be a food sign up form coming soon. Station leader volunteers are also needed. Stations will be interactive stations that students in the community can partake in. Examples of these would be posters representing countries, folktales, or anything cultural in general, making bracelets, drawing, crafts, etc. Displays of culture like artifacts and clothing, running games like Loteria, Dakji, and more. They are also in need of anyone else interested in performing. This can include, but is not limited to, singing, dancing, or anything creative. They are all welcome. There's a sign-up form, so if you are interested in signing up, you can contact Kevin Munoz at the high school. He was one of the ones who spoke today. And some other things. Senior night is May 28th in the middle school auditorium from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And again, May 29th is the honors assembly at 8 a.m. in the high school gym. That is also when the freshmen ring the bell of knowledge to welcome to high school. And it's also the senior walk through all the schools. That one's optional for seniors. And again, graduation is May 31st at 8:30 a.m. at the Cougar Stadium. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Anything else? Alrighty. Moving on to, let's see, we got board member comments. No, upcoming board member comments. Does anybody have any additional comments they'd like to make? Anyone?
Got it.
Okay. All right, moving on to upcoming meetings. We have an upcoming board meeting on May 19th at 6:59 and second floor in board chambers, as well as a regular board meeting June 23rd, 6:59 board chambers. If there is no other action, or can I get a motion and a second for adjournment, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.